Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English in Minutes. I am Natasha, your host for today. If you are new here, I want to let you know that we upload a new English learning video every single day to help you improve your English faster. In today's episode, you will not only improve your English listening skills, but also your speaking and everyday conversation skills. We're diving into an important topic that every beginner needs to know to sound more confident and natural when speaking English. Today, we're going to explore 100 essential English phrases that you can use in real life every single day. These phrases will help you start conversations, keep them flowing, and respond naturally in all kinds of daily situations. Whether you're greeting someone, asking for help, ordering food, or simply chatting with friends, these phrases will make your English sound smooth and confident. By the end of this video, you'll not only know these phrases, but you'll also be able to practice them with me, so you can use them without thinking twice. Before we start the video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you never miss helpful English learning episodes like this. So, grab a pen and paper, get comfortable, and let's get started. Let's start with some of the most common and friendly phrases you will hear and use every single day. The first one is, "Hello, how are you?" This is such a simple phrase, but it's one of the easiest ways to connect with someone. You can say it to friends, family, colleagues, or even to a shop assistant when you enter a store. Now, I want you to try saying it out loud with me. Hello, how are you? Imagine you're meeting a friend at the park. You smile, and you say, "Hello, how are you?" Notice how the tone goes slightly up at the end, showing you're asking a question. The next one you'll often need is, "I'm fine, thank you. And you?" This is a polite and friendly way to answer the first question. Even if you're feeling tired or busy, this phrase is a safe choice for small talk. Let's practice it together. I'm fine, thank you. And you? Try saying it slowly, then naturally. And imagine you're replying to a friendly neighbor who just asked about your day. Another important phrase is, "What's your name?" This is something you'll use when meeting someone new. You might be at a language class, at a party, or traveling, and you want to start a conversation. So you ask, "What's your name?" And the person may answer, "My name is," followed by their name. Let's try that. Say, "What's your name?" Now answer, "My name is Natasha." Of course, you'll replace my name with yours. If you want to be even more polite, you can use, "May I know your name?" This sounds a little more formal and respectful. It's perfect for situations like meeting someone in a business meeting or talking to a teacher. Practice it now. "May I know your name?" Good. Now, once you know someone's name, it's nice to say, "Nice to meet you," or "It's nice to meet you." This shows good manners and friendliness. Imagine shaking someone's hand and smiling. You say, "Nice to meet you." Say it with me now. Nice to meet you. Here's a phrase you will use every single day. Please and thank you. They are small words, but they make a big difference in how polite you sound. You can add please when asking for something. For example, "Can you pass me the salt, please?" Or, "Could you help me, please?" And when someone gives you something or helps you, you say, "Thank you. Practice with me. Can you pass me the book, please?" Now answer, "Thank you." Sometimes you might want to show even more gratitude. You can say, "Thank you very much," or "Thanks a lot." These sound warmer and more expressive. Imagine a friend brings you coffee when you're tired. You smile and say, "Thanks a lot." Here's another helpful phrase. "You're welcome." This is what you say when someone thanks you. If a shop assistant gives you change and you say thank you, they might reply, "You're welcome." Let's practice that. You're welcome. Say it again. You're welcome. In daily conversations, you'll also use, "Excuse me." This is perfect for getting someone's attention politely, like in a shop when you need help, or in the street when you want to ask for directions. Practice saying it now. "Excuse me." And if you accidentally bump into someone, you can also say, "Sorry." It's a quick, polite way to apologize. You can also say, "I'm sorry for bigger mistakes." Practice it now. "I'm sorry." Sometimes you need to ask someone to repeat what they said. You can use, "Could you say that again, please?" Or, "Sorry, I didn't catch that." These phrases are very useful in English conversations. Let's practice the first one together. "Could you say that again, please?" Now the second one. "Sorry, I didn't catch that." Now, let's do a little practice conversation using some of these phrases. Imagine you walk into a cafe. You see a friend you haven't met in a while. You say, "Hello, how are you?" They reply, "I'm fine, thank you." And you? You answer, Good, thank you." Then you introduce them to the person next to you. "This is my friend Anna." You turn to Anna and say, "Nice to meet you." She says, "Nice to meet you too." Later, when ordering coffee, you say to the barista, "Excuse me, can I have a cappuccino, please?" The barista gives you the coffee. You say, "Thank you very much." And they reply, "You're welcome." By practicing these phrases in small, imagined situations like this, your brain starts to remember them naturally. So when you're in a real situation, they come out without you thinking too much. Let's move to some phrases that are useful when you are talking about your day or sharing how you feel. One of the simplest ways to start is by saying, "I'm doing well," or "I'm doing great." This is a friendly, positive way to answer when someone asks how you are. Imagine a colleague at work asks, "How are you today?" You smile and reply, "I'm doing well, thank you." Now try saying it with me. "I'm doing well," or "I'm doing great." Sometimes you might not be feeling your best, and that's okay. You can say, "I'm a little tired today," or "I'm not feeling so well," to express that. For example, if your friend invites you to go out, but you've had a busy day, you can say, "I'm a little tired today. Maybe we can go another time." Let's practice that. "I'm a little tired today." When you need to ask for help, one of the most useful phrases is, "Can you help me, please?" This works in so many situations: at the supermarket, in the library, at the train station. Practice with me. "Can you help me, please?" You can also make it a bit more formal by saying, "Could you help me, please?" This sounds extra polite. If you want to ask for information, try, "Could you tell me?" For example, "Could you tell me where the nearest bus stop is?" "Could you tell me what time the store closes?" Let's say it together. "Could you tell me?" Another very common phrase is, "I don't understand." This is perfect for when someone says something you didn't catch or the meaning is unclear. You can also add, "Could you explain that, please?" Practice with me. I don't understand. Could you explain that, please? When you are in a new place and need directions, one phrase you will use often is, where is the, for example, where is the bathroom? Where is the train station? Where is the bank? Try asking, where is the nearest cafe? Now, let's focus on polite ways to ask for something instead of just saying, I want. You can say, I would like. This is softer and more polite. For example, I would like a glass of water, please. Or, I would like to buy a ticket to London. Let's practice together. I would like. If you're at a restaurant, you might use, can I have, for example, can I have the menu, please? Can I have a glass of orange juice? Practice with me. Can I have? Sometimes you'll need to agree with someone. Simple phrases like, that's right, or exactly, work well. For example, if someone says, today is really hot, you can reply, that's right, or exactly. Say them with me now. That's right. Exactly. On the other hand, if you don't agree, you can say, I don't think so, or not really. For example, if someone says, I think this movie is amazing, and you didn't enjoy it, you can say, I don't think so, or not really. Practice both. I don't think so. Not really. Let's create a short role play so you can imagine these phrases in action. Picture yourself in a bookstore. You walk in and ask the assistant, excuse me, can you help me, please? They smile and say, of course. You ask, could you tell me where the travel books are? They point to a shelf. You say, thank you very much. Later, while browsing, you meet someone who says, I love this author, don't you? You think for a second and reply, not really. I prefer mystery novels. This kind of small, natural conversation is exactly how your English will grow. The more you practice, the more confident you'll feel. So after watching this video, I want you to take 5 of these phrases and use them with a real person today. It could be a friend, a family member, or even a shop assistant. The more real-life use you give them, the faster they will become natural for you. Let's look at some phrases you can use when you are meeting people for the first time or starting a casual conversation. One of the easiest ways to begin is with, where are you from? This is a friendly question that works well when you meet someone new. You could be at a language class, a cafe, or a bus stop, and you want to get to know them. Try saying it with me. Where are you from? When someone asks you this question, you can answer with, I'm from, and then the name of your country or city. For example, I'm from Pakistan. I'm from London. I'm from New York. Practice that now. I'm from, and add your own location. You might also want to ask, do you live here? This is a friendly way to keep the conversation going. For example, you meet someone at a park. You ask, do you live here? And they might say, yes, I do. Or, no, I'm just visiting. Practice it now. Do you live here? If someone tells you they are visiting, you can say, how long will you stay? For example, that's nice. How long will you stay? And if you're the visitor, you can answer, I will stay for a week, or I'm here for 2 months. Sometimes you might want to find things in common. You can ask, what do you do? This could mean, what is your job, or what do you usually do? For example, what do you do? And you might hear, I'm a student. I work in an office. I'm a teacher. Practice asking and answering. If you want to make it sound more polite or formal, you can say, what do you do for a living? This is common in professional settings. Practice with me. What do you do for a living? Now, when you are talking about hobbies or free time, you can ask, what do you like to do in your free time? This is a great question to keep a conversation interesting. The other person might say, I like reading. I enjoy playing football. I love cooking. Try asking it now. What do you like to do in your free time? When someone asks you this question, you can reply with, I like or I enjoy. For example, I like going for walks. I enjoy watching movies. Practice it now. I like, and complete the sentence with something you enjoy. Here's a phrase you can use to show interest in what someone says. That sounds interesting. For example, if someone says, I go hiking every weekend, you can reply, that sounds interesting. Practice that now. That sounds interesting. If you agree or want to encourage the person to share more, you can say, really? Tell me more. This keeps the conversation flowing and shows that you are listening. Say it with me. Really? Tell me more. Let's put some of these into a short practice dialogue. Imagine you are at a bus stop. You turn to the person next to you and say, hello, how are you? They reply, I'm fine, thank you. And you? You answer, I'm good. Where are you from? They say, I'm from Canada. You reply, oh, that's nice. Do you live here? They answer, no, I'm just visiting. You ask, how long will you stay? They say, just for a week. You smile and say, that sounds interesting. Really? Tell me more. By practicing these small talk phrases in short, imagined conversations like this, you train your brain to remember them faster. The next time you are in a real situation, you won't need to think about the words. They will just come naturally. To make this even stronger, here's a little exercise you can do after this lesson. Take a piece of paper and write down 5 people you could start a conversation with this week. Next to each name, write down 3 phrases you could use with them from what we have learned today. Then, actually use those phrases. You will be surprised how much easier speaking becomes when you plan your words before you speak. Now let's explore some useful phrases you will need when traveling or shopping. These are situations where having the right words can make everything much smoother. One of the most common phrases you will use is, how much is this? This is perfect when you want to know the price of something in a shop or market. Imagine you are holding a scarf and want to buy it. You look at the shop assistant and say, how much is this? Try it with me. How much is this? You can also ask, how much does it cost? This is just another way to ask for the price. Practice it now. How much does it cost? If you are in a restaurant or cafe, you might want to see what food or drinks are available. You can say, can I see the menu, please? This is polite and clear. Let's practice. Can I see the menu, please? When you are ready to order, you can say, I'll have, or I would like. For example, I'll have a chicken sandwich, please. Or, I would like a cup of tea, please. Say it with me. I'll have. I would like. Sometimes you may want to ask for something specific. You can use Could I get? For example, could I get a bottle of water, please? This sounds friendly and polite. If you are paying for something, you might hear the cashier say the price, and you can reply, "Here you go," when you give the money. Or, "Do you take credit cards?" If you are not sure, practice with me. Here you go. Do you take credit cards? When you receive your food or item, remember to say, "Thank you," or "Thanks." And if they say thank you to you, you can reply, "You're welcome." If you are in a new place and need to find something, you might ask, "Is there a nearby?" For example, "Is there a pharmacy nearby?" "Is there a bus stop nearby?" Let's say it together. Is there a nearby? Sometimes you might be lost or confused. A very helpful phrase is, "Could you show me on the map?" For example, if you are in a city and can't find your hotel, you can hand your map or phone to someone and say, "Could you show me on the map?" In busy places like airports or train stations, you might want to confirm details. You can ask, "What time does it leave?" For example, "What time does the train leave?" Practice this with me. What time does it leave? If you are late or worried about missing something, you can ask, "Am I too late?" For example, "Am I too late for the bus?" "Am I too late for the movie?" Let's do a short practice situation to bring these phrases together. Imagine you are at a small bakery in another city. You walk in and say, "Excuse me, can I see the menu, please?" The cashier hands it to you. You look and say, "I'll have a chocolate cake and a coffee, please." They prepare your order and say, "That's $5. You hand them the money and say, "Here you go." They smile and say, "Thank you." You reply, "You're welcome." Later, you leave the bakery and realize you don't know where the bus stop is. You stop a passerby and say, "Excuse me, is there a bus stop nearby?" They point and you say, "Thank you very much." This kind of role play is powerful because it gives you a real image in your mind, and your brain connects the words to the situation. That means when you are in a real bakery or shop, the words will come to you automatically. To make this even stronger, try this exercise. Think of 3 places you visit often, maybe a supermarket, a cafe, and a bus stop. Imagine yourself walking into each one and practice using at least 3 of these travel or shopping phrases in your mind. Repeat this every day for a week, and you will notice you start using these sentences without hesitation. Now let's look at some polite conversation phrases that will help you sound friendly and respectful in almost any situation. One of the most useful is, "Would you mind?" This is a softer, more polite way to ask someone to do something. For example, "Would you mind opening the window?" Or, "Would you mind helping me with this bag?" Try saying it with me now. Would you mind? If you want to check if something is okay, you can say, "Is it all right if?" For example, "Is it all right if I sit here?" "Is it all right if I borrow your pen?" This shows that you are being considerate. Practice it now. Is it all right if? When someone asks you for something and you want to agree politely, you can say, "Of course," or "Sure, no problem." These make you sound friendly and helpful. Imagine a colleague asks, "Could you send me that file?" You reply, "Of course," or "Sure, no problem." Say it with me. Sure, no problem. Sometimes you may want to show appreciation for something someone has done. You can say, "I really appreciate it." For example, thank you for helping me with my homework. I really appreciate it. Practice that now. I really appreciate it. When you want to be extra polite, you can also use, that's very kind of you. For example, someone offers you a seat. You can say, that's very kind of you. Say it with me. That's very kind of you. If you don't know the answer to something, you can use, I'm not sure, or I don't know. For example, I'm not sure where he is, or I don't know the answer to that question. Try saying both now. I'm not sure, I don't know. When you need a little time to think, you can say, let me think, or that's a good question. This gives you a moment to prepare your answer without feeling rushed. Practice it now. Let me think. That's a good question. If someone tells you good news, you can respond with, that's great, or that's wonderful. For example, I passed my exam. You reply, that's great, or that's wonderful. Say both with me, that's great, that's wonderful. If you want to encourage someone, you can say, good job, or well done. These are short, positive phrases that make people feel supported. Imagine a friend finishes a presentation. You say, good job, well done. Sometimes you may need to politely interrupt someone. You can say, sorry to interrupt, or may I say something? For example, sorry to interrupt, but I think we need to leave now. Practice. Sorry to interrupt. May I say something? Let's try a mini role play. Imagine you're in a meeting. A colleague is explaining something and you want to add an idea. You say, sorry to interrupt. May I say something? They nod. You share your idea. Later they say, thank you for helping with the report. You smile and say, I really appreciate it. That's very kind of you. This type of polite and respectful language makes conversations smoother and helps people enjoy talking to you. It's not just about speaking English, it's about building good relationships. For practice, I want you to take 2 or 3 of these polite phrases and use them in conversations over the next 2 days. Even if the conversation is short, adding a polite phrase will make it feel warmer. Now let's talk about some important phrases you can use in emergencies, health situations, or when you need urgent help. These are phrases you may not use every day, but when you need them, they can be very important. One of the most useful is, I need help. This is short, clear, and direct. Imagine you are feeling unwell or you have lost something important. You can say, I need help. Practice it now. I need help. If the situation is serious, you can say, call the police or call an ambulance. For example, if you see an accident, you can quickly say, call an ambulance. Try saying it with me. Call the police. Call an ambulance. If you are in pain or sick, you might use, I need a doctor. This is useful anywhere in the world. Practice now. I need a doctor. You can also add, it's urgent if the situation is serious. For example, I need a doctor. It's urgent. When you want to explain your health problem, you can use, I do, and feel well, or I'm feeling sick. These are polite and simple. Practice both. I don't feel well. I'm feeling sick. If you have a specific pain, you can say, I have a headache. I have a stomach ache. I have a sore throat. For example, you go to a pharmacy and say, I have a headache. Can you help me? Let's practice. I have a headache. I have a sore throat. If you are in a situation where you have lost something, you can use, I've lost my, and add the item. For example, I've lost my phone. I've lost my wallet. Practice it now. I've lost my, and complete with your own word. Sometimes you may need to explain a problem. You can say, something is wrong, or there's a problem. For example, something is wrong with my car, or there's a problem with my hotel room. Try saying them. Something is wrong. There's a problem. If you need to find the closest place for help, you can ask, where is the nearest? For example, where is the nearest hospital? Where is the nearest police station? Practice now. Where is the nearest? You can also ask, can you show me the way? For example, can you show me the way to the pharmacy? This is polite and clear. Practice. Can you show me the way? Let's do a small practice dialogue. Imagine you're traveling and suddenly feel sick. You go to the hotel reception and say, excuse me, I don't feel well. I need a doctor. The receptionist says, of course, I'll call one for you. You reply, thank you very much. Later, when the doctor arrives, you say, I have a headache and a sore throat. They understand and give you medicine. By practicing these kinds of urgent phrases in your mind, you will be ready if the moment ever comes. Even if your English is still improving, short and clear phrases are always better than long and complicated sentences in an emergency. For your practice task today, I want you to write down 5 emergency situations, and for each one, choose one short phrase from this section that you could use. Read them aloud 3 times. This will make them stick in your memory so you can speak without hesitation. Now let's focus on friendly social phrases you can use to build connections and keep conversations going. These are the sentences that make you sound approachable, kind, and interested in the other person. One of the simplest ways to show you care is to say, how was your day? This is perfect to ask a friend, a family member, or even a colleague at the end of the day. Imagine meeting your friend in the evening. You smile and say, how was your day? Practice with me. How was your day? If you want to be more specific, you can ask, how was your weekend? Or, how was your trip? These show that you remember what the other person told you before. Let's try. How was your weekend? How was your trip? Another friendly phrase is, it's good to see you, or it's nice to see you again. These are warm and welcoming. For example, you run into a former classmate in the supermarket. You say, it's nice to see you again. Try saying it now. It's nice to see you again. If you meet someone after a long time, you might say, it's been a while, or long time no see. These are common and sound friendly. Practice. It's been a while. Long time no see. When you want to start a small conversation, you can use, how's everything? Or, how have you been? Both are great for catching up. Say them with me. How's everything? How have you been? To show that you're listening, you can say, I see, or I understand. For example, a friend tells you they had a busy day. You nod and say, I see, or I understand. Practice both now. I see. I understand. If you want to agree with something, you can also use me too. For example, a friend says, I love coffee. You reply, me too. Say it now. Me too. Sometimes you want to show excitement about what someone says. You can use, that's amazing, or that's awesome. For example, a colleague tells you they got a promotion. You say that's amazing, or That's awesome. Try both. That's amazing. That's awesome. When you want to comfort someone, you can say, "Don't worry," or "It's okay." For example, if your friend says, "Sorry I'm late," you reply, "Don't worry. It's okay." Practice now. Don't worry. It's okay. You might also want to check if someone is all right. You can ask, "Are you okay?" or "Is everything all right?" For example, you see a friend looking sad. You say, "Are you okay?" or "Is everything all right?" Try it. "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" Let's create a short example conversation with these phrases. Imagine you meet a friend in the park. You smile and say, "Hey, long time no see. How have you been?" They reply, "I've been busy with work." You say, "I see. How was your weekend?" They answer, "It was great. I went hiking." You say, "That's awesome." Later, they mention they've been feeling tired lately. You say, "Are you okay?" They smile and say, "Don't worry. I just need some rest." By using these short and warm phrases, you make conversations more personal and enjoyable. People will want to talk to you again because they feel heard and appreciated. For practice, think of 3 people you know, and imagine greeting them with 2 or 3 of these friendly phrases. Speak them out loud, and picture their smile when they hear you. This will help you feel more confident in real conversations. Let's now move to some phrases you can use when making plans or inviting people to do something. These phrases are useful with friends, family, classmates, or even new people you meet. One of the most common ways to invite someone is to say, "Would you like to?" For example, "Would you like to have coffee tomorrow?" "Would you like to join us for dinner?" Try it now. "Would you like to?" You can also say, "Do you want to?" This is a little more casual and is perfect for friends. For example, "Do you want to watch a movie tonight? Do you want to go shopping this weekend?" Say it with me. Do you want to? When you're agreeing to a plan, you can say, "That sounds great," or "That sounds good." For example, your friend says, "Let's meet at the park at 5. You reply, "That sounds great." Practice both. That sounds great. That sounds good. If you can't accept the invitation, you can use, "I'm sorry, I can't," or "Maybe another time." For example, "I'm sorry, I can't this weekend. Maybe another time." Practice. "I'm sorry, I can't. Maybe another time." Another friendly way to suggest a plan is, "How about?" For example, "How about lunch at that new cafe?" Or, "How about going for a walk later?" Try it. How about? When you want to check if someone is free, you can ask, "Are you free?" For example, "Are you free tomorrow evening?" "Are you free on Saturday?" Practice. "Are you free?" If you want to be more polite, you can ask, "Would you be available?" For example, "Would you be available for a meeting on Friday?" Say it now. Would you be available? When you want to confirm a plan, you can say, "See you at," for example, "See you at 3 o'clock," or "See you at the restaurant." Practice. See you at. You can also say, "Let's meet at." For example, "Let's meet at the park entrance." "Let's meet at the bus stop." Try it. Let's meet at. If you want to make a plan sound more certain, you can add, "It's a plan," or "sounds like a plan." For example, "Let's meet for lunch at 1. Sounds like a plan." Let's put some of these phrases into a short practice conversation. Imagine you see a friend after class. You say, "Would you like to have coffee later?" They reply, "That sounds good." You ask, "Are you free around 4 o'clock?" They say, "Yes, I am." You reply, "Great, see you at the cafe." This kind of everyday planning happens all the time. The more comfortable you are with these simple phrases, the easier it will be to make plans without stress. For a quick exercise, think of 3 activities you could do this week. For each one, make an invitation sentence using "Would you like to?" and then make another version using "How about?" This will give you variety and confidence in making plans. Let's now look at some phrases you can use when you are traveling or trying to get around in an English-speaking place. These are especially helpful at train stations, airports, or even when taking a taxi or bus. One of the most important phrases is, "Where can I buy a ticket?" For example, you arrive at a train station and need to know where the ticket office is. You say, "Excuse me. Where can I buy a ticket?" Practice it with me. Where can I buy a ticket? If you already have your ticket but want to know which platform or gate to go to, you can ask, "Where is platform number?" or "Where is gate number?" For example, "Where is platform number 3?" or "Where is gate 22?" Try both now. Where is platform number? Where is gate number? Sometimes you might need to ask, "What time does it leave?" This works for buses, trains, and planes. For example, "What time does the bus leave?" "What time does the flight leave?" Practice it now. What time does it leave? If you're not sure how long the trip will take, you can ask, "How long does it take to get to?" For example, "How long does it take to get to the airport?" "How long does it take to get to downtown?" Say it with me. How long does it take to get to? When you're in a taxi, you might want to say, "Please take me to." For example, "Please take me to the Grand Hotel," or "Please take me to the train station." Practice. "Please take me to." If you want to know the price before traveling, you can ask, "How much is the fare?" or "How much will it cost?" For example, "How much is the fare to the airport?" Say both now. How much is the fare? How much will it cost? If you're using public transport and want to make sure you're going in the right direction, you can ask, "Does this bus go to?" For example, "Does this bus go to the city center?" Practice. "Does this bus go to?" Sometimes you may need to get off before your stop, but you're not sure where. You can say to the driver, "Could you tell me when we get to?" For example, "Could you tell me when we get to Central Station?" Say it now. Could you tell me when we get to? If you want to ask about the last service of the day, you can say, "When is the last bus?" or "When is the last train?" For example, "When is the last bus to the airport?" Practice both now. When is the last bus? When is the last train? Let's create a short travel conversation using these phrases. Imagine you are in a new city. You walk to the bus stop and see a driver. You say, "Excuse me, does this bus go to downtown?" The driver replies, "Yes." You ask, "How long does it take to get there?" They say, "About 20 minutes." You reply, "Thank you. Could you tell me when we get to the Central Square?" They nod and say, "Of course." Travel can be stressful if you don't know the right words, but these short, clear sentences can make things much easier. Even if your pronunciation is not perfect, speaking clearly and politely will help people understand you. For practice, think of a trip you have taken or would like to take. Imagine yourself at the bus station, the airport, or in a taxi, and try to use at least 5 of these travel phrases in your mind. Then repeat them out loud to get comfortable with the sound of your own voice using English. Now let's move into one of the most enjoyable parts of daily life, eating out at restaurants or ordering food. This is something you might do when traveling, celebrating, or just taking a break from cooking. The first phrase you will often use is, "A table for 2, please," or "A table for 4, please." For example, when you enter a restaurant, the host might ask, "How many people?" You reply, "A table for 2, please." Practice it now. "A table for 2, please." If you want to make a reservation ahead of time, you can say, "I'd like to make a reservation." For example, "I'd like to make a reservation for tomorrow at 7 p.m. Try it. "I'd like to make a reservation." Once you're seated, you might want to look at the food options. You can say, "Could I see the menu, please?" Or, "Can I have the menu, please?" Practice both. "Could I see the menu, please?" "Can I have the menu, please?" When you're ready to order, you can use "I'll have." For example, "I'll have the grilled chicken, please." Or, "I'll have a large coffee." Say it with me, "I'll have." If you want to be more polite, you can say, "I would like." For example, "I would like the vegetable soup, please." Practice, "I would like." Sometimes you might want to ask for a recommendation. You can say, "What do you recommend?" For example, "What do you recommend from the menu?" This is especially helpful if you're not sure what to choose. Practice. "What do you recommend?" If you have a food preference, you can say, "I don't eat," or "I'm allergic to." For example, "I don't eat meat," or "I'm allergic to peanuts." Practice both. "I don't eat," "I'm allergic to." When you want something specific, you can say, "Could I have?" For example, "Could I have some extra bread, please?" Or, "Could I have water without ice, please?" Say it now. "Could I have?" After finishing your meal, you might want to ask for the bill. You can say, "Could I have the bill, please?" Or, "Can I get the check, please?" In the UK, bill is common, and in the US, check is common. Practice both. "Could I have the bill, please?" "Can I get the check, please?" Before leaving, it's polite to thank the staff. You can say, "Thank you, the food was delicious," or, "Thanks, everything was great." Try both now. "Thank you, the food was delicious." "Thanks, everything was great." Let's try a short practice conversation. Imagine you walk into a restaurant. The host asks, "How many people?" You reply, "A table for 3, please." They seat you. You say, "Could I see the menu, please?" After looking, you say to the waiter, "I'll have the pasta and a lemonade, please." The waiter brings your food and you eat. At the end, you say, "Could I have the bill, please?" They give it to you. You pay and say, "Thank you. The food was delicious." By practicing these sentences in order, you create a mental script that you can follow in any restaurant. This makes eating out in English-speaking places much less stressful and much more enjoyable. For your practice today, think of your favorite restaurant. Imagine yourself walking in and ordering your meal in English from start to finish. Speak the sentences out loud as if the waiter is in front of you. This kind of mental rehearsal will make you much more confident in real life. Let's finish with some everyday phrases that you can use in many different situations. Phrases that work almost anywhere and help you sound natural. One of the most common is, "Excuse me, could you help me?" This is polite and works in shops, on the street, or in any public place. Practice it now. "Excuse me, could you help me?" Another simple but important phrase is, "Could you please speak more slowly?" This is perfect if someone is speaking too fast. Try it with me. "Could you please speak more slowly?" You can also say, "Can you write it down, please?" This helps if you don't understand a name, address, or number. Practice. "Can you write it down, please?" When you want to check your understanding, you can use, "Do you mean?" For example, "Do you mean the main road?" Or, "Do you mean this shop?" Practice now, "Do you mean?" If you need to confirm something, you can say, "So, you're saying," for example, "So, you're saying the meeting is at 3 o'clock? Try it. "So, you're saying." A very friendly phrase for almost any situation is, "Have a nice day," or "Have a great day." You can say this after buying something, talking to a neighbor, or ending a conversation. Practice. "Have a nice day." "Have a great day." If it's evening, you can use "good night" to say goodbye. For example, "Good night. See you tomorrow." Say it with me. Good night. When someone wishes you well, it's nice to reply with, "You too." For example, if someone says, "Have a nice weekend," you say, "You too." Try it. You too. A helpful phrase for group situations is, "Let's get started." This can be used in meetings, classes, or even friendly gatherings. Practice. Let's get started. If you're ready to finish something, you can say, "That's all for now," or "That's it for today." For example, "That's all for now. Thanks for your help." Try it now. That's all for now. Let's make a short, everyday conversation with these. Imagine you are at a train station. You say, "Excuse me, could you help me?" The staff member says, "Of course." You ask, "Could you please speak more slowly?" They explain. You confirm. "So, you're saying platform 5? They nod. You reply, "Thank you. Have a nice day." They smile and say, "You too." These simple, flexible phrases can fit into so many parts of your life. If you practice them often, they will become automatic. You won't have to think before speaking. Now, we've covered 100 useful English phrases for beginners. We've practiced greetings, polite questions, travel and restaurant situations, making plans, friendly small talk, and even emergency phrases. These are the building blocks of real conversation. To make them a part of your natural speaking habit, I want you to choose 10 phrases from this video and use them in real life within the next week. You can practice with friends, family, classmates, or even strangers in safe, everyday situations like shops or cafes. The more you use them, the more confident and fluent you will feel. And remember, learning English is not about being perfect. It's about making connections, sharing your ideas, and enjoying the process. Even small steps add up over time. Thank you so much for watching and practicing with me today. I'm proud of the effort you've made, and I know you can keep growing every single day. Before you go, make sure you subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so you never miss new English lessons that will help you become more confident and fluent. Take care, keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next lesson.